Alright guys, I want to talk about the new mono white card from D&D Baldur's Gate, Archivist of Oghma, and how good it is. But just before we get into the video for today, if you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there, please do consider subscribing, turning on that notifications. It really helps us out. But with that being said, let's get right on into the video for today. Look, the fact that this thing has flash makes it a bit better than perhaps what I would say I think it's perhaps worth. And of course, I'm always the one that wants to bring everyone down and say, hey, this card, it's all right, or whatever, but it's not nearly as good as what some people have made it out to be, in a sense. Now, certainly, it has its uses, and it would be good in certain decks and in certain metas, probably a lot better in metas where you're in CDH and things like this, where there's a lot of shuffling and people have a lot of fetch lands. Or if you do have a meta game of people that just so happen to be running all Omnaths or whatnot, or all these landfall style commanders and things like that. Now, when you're facing against people that are maybe tutoring through the deck once or twice, things like that, it might not be that good, might not be that worth it. You might get one or two cards off of it, and that might still be kind of worth it to a degree in, drawing two cards and gaining 2 life for 2 mana, and having a 2/2 attached to that might be okay, but it's certainly not nearly as good as if you're in a metagame where there is a lot of searching, a lot of shuffling and whatnot. Now, of course, some people aren't like me and are crazy for tutoring and whatnot, whereas I don't tend to tutor and don't really care about tutoring and whatnot, although people wonder why, but still, that's just me, and I've sort of explained that. But anyway, I do think that, if you find those games that you can put it in, it certainly is good, again. But if you come up against people that are playing more, I guess, I don't want to say jank, but just we're here to play with whatever happens to, sort of come out, whatever I top deck for the most part by just drawing cards naturally, or by having some artifacts and enchantments to help me draw, or whatnot, or creatures or whatever to help me draw cards. And I'm not really tutoring. I might tutor twice in the game, and that'll only be for lands, and that'll be it. Again, you're not going to get as much value off of it. And the opportunities that you're going to have for this are going to be slim in those games. So, yeah, sure, you can put it into a deck and you can tutor it up, again, into your hand or whatever, and flash it out and get some card advantage. And obviously, it's nowhere near as good as, the blue version 3 mana of this, or the black 3 mana version of this that they came out with in Commander Legends before, and whatnot. And it's again one of those things that I don't like these cards personally, that your opponents basically dictate how good the card is and whatnot. If you were the one to be like, oh, okay, cool, well, you know what, I'm going to run this card in my deck and I'm going to force people to tutor cards and things like that all the time, then, well, it's really good, because it's like, wow, I'm forcing people to tutor things and I'm drawing cards from them tutoring things and whatnot, which might also help with me tutoring things, because if the tutor's to the top of the deck, then I'll get it to my hand, and so on and so forth, especially if I've got some life gain triggers, because, of course, a white card has to gain life, because that's all they can figure out to do with these cards. It couldn't draw a card and that be it, or whatever. But still, that makes it a little bit better, I guess. But still, in a sense, it's like, well, whatever, to that degree. But again, I don't want to disparage this card at all. I just want to say, hey, just calm down, just slow down just a minute. It's not nearly as good as what you're saying it is, or as what some people are saying it is. It's certainly a decent card, certainly. But it's not going to warp games and do all these crazy things. It's only going to be as good as, or as it's only going to keep up with the games that get more and more powerful. So that's good. That's what this card should be. That's 100% what this card should be. You know, but that's it. Like, just don't run it in the games where it's not good or whatnot, or don't play it when it's not going to be, at least decent or do something, and that sort of thing. Because it's like, well, why would you? You might as well not run it and run other things. But again, it's tough to say that in mono white or in that sort of thing, or in Boros, or in certain color combinations like that, where you haven't got a lot of card draw and card advantage. So I get that, but again, being so reliant on your opponents is one of those downfalls of cards like this. And again, it is tough to find any synergies that you could find to put this with. But again, there are some, but you would have to be in multiple colors again. So it is tough. But anyway, as I said, I don't want to chat too long about it because that's mostly what I think. I just want people to be like, oh, okay, cool. Just take a step back, think about it, and go, yeah, sure, okay, cool. That's fine. That's all right. I know where it will be good and where it won't be good. And maybe there are a few decks maybe that it could slot in if I make my opponent's tutor or whatnot. But then why do you want to make your opponent's tutor unless you're also, stealing their cards or whatnot, that sort of thing and whatnot. So it's going to be a very tough deck to actually figure out what you're actually doing and where you're actually going. And someone like me who's like forced to tutor is probably just going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll tutor a land for the first couple of turns because I want to make sure I hit my land drops. And then I'll be starting to be like, oh, okay, now I don't know what to tutor because I'm big dum dum and I only know I I attack, I kill, I punch type thing, So, but anyway, that's just me, and I know there are lots of people that are more on that scale as well, further down than what I am, because they're out there. But still, but anyway, guys, I just want people to realize that, and hope you do. And are able to use this card to its full potential wherever you use it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. You can leave your thoughts down below. Tell me I'm so super wrong if you wish, or tell me I'm, might be right on the money and whatnot if you think that or whatever. Or you can say, hey, what other cards you want to see me review or preview from the set. I don't want to do too many of the cards from the set and whatnot because I'd prefer to do full-on deck techs and things like that, or whatnot, or build around cards and things like that for the most part. But yeah, I'll certainly do it for a few cards because I think a few cards are actually pretty sweet. I think this card's pretty sweet in a sense, but in another sense, I wish it was just like, hey, you know what? Do your own stuff and have your own synergies and whatnot. But anyway, you can let me know all those thoughts down there in those comments below. And if I don't see you in those comments down there below, I'll see you in the next one.